For now, we tackle the material self. So, what is material self? We sometimes put meaning and value the material things like cars based on our concept of self. It means that we own things that preferably you can tell that this is yours, this is mine, you owned it. There are three ways through which we can connect with objects. The first one is through controlling object, like learning something that we'll love to do, and we also connect through using object to control others. It means that kung unsa ang atong interest, mao na ang atoang silbi kinaiya. Kung unsa ang atoang ganahan nga padulngan through sa object na atong ganahan. The second one is we make a connection with an object through either creating or buying it. It means that if nagkugi ka sa usa ka butang or nakay ganahan nga maimuha, so you can afford it. Maimuhan ang butang nga imuhang ganahan kay imo man ang gikugihan. You have a connection with the object na imuhang na angko. The third one is knowing about something creates a connection between you and the object of your interest. So, about kanang sa object na imuhang naangkon or imuhang na-afford, it will basically connect with your emotion. Mura na mo must stay connected with that specific object. If pananglit, nakapalit ka og something na butang nga imong ganahan niya, mawala. So, ma-pressure ka, ma-feel sad, or unsay ma-feel nimo kay kinugihan nimo then nawala. So, mo na siya material self. Ma-connect sa imong self ang mga butang nga imuhang naganahan, ang imuhang naangkon, ang imuhang it will say mine, yours, that you owned, or unsa pa na nga matawag nimo nga imuha jud ang butang. So there are two categories of material self. The bodily self, this is part of your body, so of course this is yours, no one can own it. The second one is the extracorporeal self. Any material possession would extend our body. Material self is all of the physical elements that reflects who you are, like possession, car, home, body, and clothes. We need to understand material self because it is an essential life skill and it will base on happiness and self-control and other that can affect your emotions. So, mura na siya connected sa inyong life, sa inyong habits everyday. The material self is the sum of total he call his, not only his body, the psychic powers, but his clothes, his house, his wife, children, and included also his ancestors and friends, reputation, works, his land, and also his priorities. The material self which have the label mind, such as the extension of individual identities, and by this, it's the reflection of who really you are.
Self and object through life stages. Why would our perspective and connections with things, with object, develop through times? Well, according to Belt 1988, there could be 4 stages of this development. First is infant distinguishes self-environment. Well, from 0 to 2 years old infant, they start to build an understanding of the world through their senses by touching, grasping, watching, and listening. Infant develop object permanence. Well, they begin to understand the world around them by using their senses and bodily movement. Second stage is infant distinguishes self from others. From 2 to 7 years old, children, they develop language and abstract thought. Well, children begin to use symbolic play, draw pictures, and talk about things that happens in the past. Well, children builds object permanence and continues to develop abstract way of thinking and thinking and including developing language skills and behavior to represent object. Third stage is possessions. Have adolescents and adults manage their identities. But from 7 to 11 years old children, they learn logical concrete rules about objects, such as height, weight, and volumes. Volumes. Children learn conversations, the ideas of an object, such as waters, and modeling clays. It remains the same even if its appearance changes. They have abilities of understanding logical orders and understanding of conversations. This also includes a better ability to classify objects into groups and subgroups. The last stage of these developments is possessions. Help the old persons have a sense of continuity and preparations for dead. From 11 to adults, they learn logical rules, understanding abstract concepts, and solve problems. They move beyond the limits of understanding objects and facts forward problem solving. This involves creating theories about what is possible based on their existing knowledge, to create new theories about what will and make predictions about what will happen in the future. And then it furthermore explained by Jarrett. He said that our relationship with material world starts with the idea that whoever first finds things, it is the owner, or should we call it finders keepers. It is when children finds a toy and does not want to let go of it, or another baby takes the toy and the first one throw a tantrum because it was taken from him or her. Tungod butang nga ilang nakit-an, possess them as if it is part of themselves. These objects were seen as transitional object, which aims to develop the skills of a child towards more independence. Some study says that the more parents are engaged in parenting, the less children to become attached of these things. It says, but Jarrett, why young people seems to value possessions based on emotional attachment, like happiness that you get from it. It is social meaning, especially the ability of the object is related to our concept of self, like buying an 8-note necklace because you think you are a musician. Young people may increase sentimental thoughts toward the positions that elect subsequent increases an attachment to those objects. The increase in sentimental thought may be through the use of object to recall the reminiscence about pleasant memories. Adults continues to extend the more objects as the need as well as the means to acquire changes. For example, when you were a teenager who was interested in drag race and became a father that prefer for a more utilitarian type that also get a specific interest, and then you find life that will become more interest invested in power tools or kitchenwares or appliances as you get older. Well, for example, it must be noted that the acquirement and attachment to object will still depend on who we think we are or who we want to be perceived by others. And that's all.
Ideas on managing resources. Resource management is the practice of planning, scheduling, and allocating people, money, and technology to a project or program. In essence, it is the process of allocating resources to achieve the greatest organizational value. Our current economic system is based on monetary exchanges, and being a consumer necessitates having cash. The following are some tips on how to manage your finances that can significantly affect your other positions. Number 1. Keep your perspective in check. The love of money, not the money itself, causes the problem. You should not sacrifice short-term satisfaction and happiness for a long-term fulfillment and joy. What 5 things would you place more important within money? Number 2. Have money, do not just pretend. Or as others say, the goal is to be rich, not to look rich. What do you think will happen if you buy a car just to impress your neighbor? Then you encounter an accident but you have no emergency funds or savings. Have your own goal, take your own time. Social comparison can make a huge impact on one's self-esteem, but having to pretend something you are not only causes problems in the long run, even in finances. Which of the things you wrote in your Christmas wish list seems to be more of a luxury coming from the pressure of your peers rather than a real need? Number 4. Budget, budget, budget. A lot of people do not like the word budget because it sounds restrictive, but it is not. Number 5. Save in order to be safe. Having a savings in the bank provides you a security in case of emergencies. Others may not have an OPT for a separate emergency and savings, as the savings account can be reserved for a long-term project, like a house. That is why must have short and long-term goals. How do you usually use your savings? Number 6. Keep your spending habits in check. We must reiterate this as it is easy to lose track of the budget and spend your savings. We can have several sub-tips in this aspect. The first one is make a list when going to the grocery or mail and prioritize buying those things in your list before you buy anything else when you have the spare money. Number 2. Pay in cash. Minimize the use of your credit or debit card. Number 3. Wait for a day or a week before you buy something because you might be just enticed at this moment or pressured by peers or trends that you want to buy something now, but in reality, it is something you do not really need. Number 4. Save first before you spend. Not spend before saving what is left. And lastly, number 5. You can reward yourself without being too extravagant or overextending your budget.
This is a continuation of Alpha Gen report about the ideas on managing resources. Number 7. Increase income flow. Sometimes the budget can be too tight or the money in the bank is not growing enough. Therefore, you must find legal ways to increase your income. What type of job are you willing to work on to increase your income? For example, you can invest your money so that your income continually increasing. Number 8. Good debt versus bad debt. Sometimes we increase our income, we forget to pay the debts we owe, or we are tempted to purchase more, which brings us to debt. Ideally, we we must get out of debt first before we can continue to make our money grow. So we can pay the first debt before you want more. There are so-called good and bad debt. To avoid bad, find a legal way to increase your income. Number 9. Make your money grow. Increasing your financial capabilities takes time and honest work, but there are means of increasing your income on its own and will yield profit higher than just being in a work bank. Important tips to remember. A. Engage only in a business that you understand, meaning you must do proper research, otherwise, you are almost guaranteed to fail. B. Do not engage in a quick money pyramid schemes because they are just made to profit those at the top of the pyramid. And C. Diversify, meaning do not invest all your money in one place or one type of business, but do not scatter the too thinly. So, why are pyramid schemes not safe? Nganong pyramid nga dili man siya safe? Because pyramid schemes are doomed to fail because their success depends on the ability to recruit and more investors. Since there are only a limited number of people in a given community, all pyramid schemes will ultimately collapse. The only people who make money are those few who are on the top of the pyramid. So everything, kung gamiton ang schemes, pyramid schemes, na possibility ang mga members mo collapse. So avoid the pyramid schemes. So number 10, protect your future. Following the plan of action, you will reach a time when you have steady flow of income, both from your work and your investment. Even if you have work and money at the bank, what might happen to this if you meet an accident that render you incapable of work for at least 1 year, but you have no accident or health insurance? So it should not only be in your work and investment. You should also be secured because it is inevitable what will happen in the future. You need the insurance also. 11. Your greatest investment is still yourself. If you have noticed by now, the steps are all about keeping you safe and helping you grow financially. This means that the mastermind behind all of this is you. What other skills or knowledge would you like to acquire? You can say yourself is a bigger investment than everything you do for yourself. You are the mastermind behind it all. To be smarter with things and be wiser for plans and goals. Number 12, enjoy life no matter what. As mentioned in the first item, money is just a means to an end. You are made to reflect on at least the top 5 things that you will place above money because those will give you more fulfillment, joy, and purpose. Enjoy your life no matter what because money can only be seen, but life once suffer can no longer be seen. Above all things, seek first yourself because everything done by you, the fulfillment is begin from you.